Oh, yes. If there's any game out there that has escalated to my list of all-time favorites faster than all the rest, it's without a doubt Team Fortress 2. Over the past several months, my love and general outlook towards this remarkable FPS title has changed dramatically. Remember when I said I don't play TF2 that often? I'm not even kidding, man. This shit's like half of my free time nowadays. Be it the fresh, fantastically balanced gameplay, the rollicking Gmod videos, or just the fact that there's always someone playing, TF2 measures out to be one of the finest gaming experiences on any platform. And you've heard this shit before. TF2's everywhere, so it's not like I'm paving out some sort of unstated novel on the game's part. So I just wasted my time telling you that. Well, fuck. The point. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Classes. Team Fortress 2 has them, and damn, do they shine. They're all well thought out characters with indicative, winsome personalities and unique signature styles of gameplay. All of them have their strengths and weaknesses, and we have a list here to see which lands on top. We're of course counting down my favorites of the bunch. It's not too hard of a concept to grasp, everyone, so hold on to your craft hats, folks, because if they don't fall off, I'm probably gonna take them from you. Let the gates open. Oh, here we go. I'm just gonna say it. Heavy is my least favorite class in Team Fortress 2. Wait for wait. I sense that I'll be pelted with rancid sandwiches for uttering that sliver of malediction, but hey, opinions. Let's clarify one thing and clear up any possible assumptions. I don't hate the Heavy. Not even close. Quite frankly, I love this dude. There are, however, things that keep him from stepping anywhere past dead last. If there was ever a mascot to represent Valve, the Heavy would damn well be the top contender. Everywhere you look in official TF2 media, be it on loading screens, any promotional posters or box art made for the game, or even the backlands of your nightmares, Heavy will be there to greet you with a hug. Yeah, I guess he classifies as the face of TF2. I reckon we should cover the positives of Heavy first. The big lovable guy hails from the Soviet Union, the land of alleged backwards stereotypes. Being Russian, Heavy's dialect is just bursting with foreign charm. Everything, I repeat, everything this guy says is entertaining. On top of his stereotypical dunderhead speech impediment, Heavy sports a stupidly thick accent and yells maniacally as he calls everyone around him babies. It's hilarious.
What was that sandwich? Killed them all? Good idea!
The fucker can't even eat without making me piss myself.
Nom, nom, nom. Nom, nom.
Oh, good God. Makes me wonder how he drinks. I like to think of Heavy as the standout weirdo in your elementary school class. He's always catching everyone's attention, he's anything but ordinary, and if he's not making you laugh, he's probably eating lunch. Sounds like me in the 8th grade. Other classes may see him as an idiot or a blathering lummox, but hey, most of the smiles I get while playing are because of the Heavy. Heavy's way of doing things, well, they're nowhere near intricate. Take a bizarre mix of John Rambo, Big the Cat without his fur, some random Russian dude, and around 20 million rubles worth of minigun ammo. All that together and you have easily one of the most dangerous classes in the entire game. Heavy's primary weapons consist of options like Natasha, the Tomislav, the Huo Long Heater, and my personal minigun of choice, the Brass Beast. All of these miniguns, as they're called, offer quite possibly the most potent scale of gradual damage output of any TF2 weapon. Heavy might seem like a derpy, huggable teddy bear at first glance, but any enemy class within range of a deployed minigun will soon find their mugs playing full-time level with the cold, nasty-ass dirt. There are few things in TF2 scarier than a battle-ready hoovy out on the field. For most of the game modes, especially those with control points, Heavy is an imperative asset to the team in basically any sort of situation. With his crazy powerful offensive output and that balls HP stat of 300 goddamn health, Heavy's a tough sit to pop. Sure, it takes you years just to get anywhere, but when it comes to maintaining a post, Heavy is, quite literally, top of the class. For all that fearsome firepower, however, Heavy isn't an exception to the low points. What's the worst thing about Heavy? Even counting any given speed downgrades on the other classes, Heavy is the slowest class, period. Look at this bull. Come on. Are you kidding? I've seen dead houses move faster than this. In many situations, Heavy's sluggish movement speed turns into a toll-free call to Daiko. 15 bullets in your head couldn't save you 15% on death insurance. This is what makes Heavy such a mixed mess on the gameplay front for me. The very second your ass is set on the field, you become everyone's. I repeat, everyone's bullet whore. It often depends on the map, but if you choose to play Heavy in any game mode, you better hope to God their snipers have shitty aim. While I enjoy Heavy both in character and in gameplay, his customary set of weaknesses bog it all down for me, and they keep him from getting any higher than number 9. Sorry, big guy. One last thing, defense my ass! Okay, now shit's really starting to go down. As arguably the most popular choice for the best class in Team Fortress 2, we have number 8. Mein Demon and her, the Medic. Now I've crossed the thin white line. Talk shit about Gen 1, stick up for Skyward Sword, and now even slightly pondering the blasphemous thought of selling the Medic short. Oh lordy, hell's the Medic, dunk off! Nine should rebel! Stop. Stop listening to the crappish chanting Archimedes is whispering into your ear for a moment. Medic falls under the same category as Heavy. As in, no, I don't hate the Medic, nor do I even find him a trifle bad. I just feel he gets godly appraisal as best TF2 class just a bit too much as opposed to the other classes. No, he wouldn't fall into the absurd ranking as but I do feel he outshines a lot of the other classes. But well, let's give the Medic fair credibility and take a look at what he has to offer. Personality first. The Medic hails all the way from Germany, Stuttgart, Germany to be precise. From his hearty, almost crack-worthy laughter and his love for medicinal science, the Medic sports the disposition of an amicable, respectable doctor. No, the appearance couldn't be any more deceptive, folks. This guy is fucking, I don't know, nuts? Is that what they're wanting me to say? Oh, okay. Call him cashews for all I give a damn. I think sadistic sounds a bit more accurate. The Medic, while being an actual man of medicine, cares not for the sick and dying. Love the irony. This is one physician that stands by the hypocritical oath. Yeah, fuck you hypocrites, I do things my way. Medic's general behavior and accent may be fun to observe, but out of all the ones who can actually speak, I find Medic's personality to be the weakest of the 9. Actually, no, scratch that. He's not as entertaining as the rest. He has quite a few funny things to say, and his accent is just fun to listen to. But again, I just don't find myself as entertained as I am listening to him, much more than his vocal colleagues. That's another thing. Is it just me, or does Medic not talk as much as the others do? From what I've collected, Medic has a surprisingly lower phrase count when compared to the others. I don't know, just an observation of mine that may or may not be true. But worry not, Medic's saving grace is how he plays. Clad in what might just be the most glorious attire in the world of medicine, the Medic brings his tools of pathological prowess into the field of battle. And God forbid his weapons are creative. Crusader's crossbow, the Mediguns, the Uber saw, so many awesome options. All of his weapons introduce at least some sort of intense viability to the situation at hand. Except the Vitasaw. Medics, especially those with decent skill, are typically seen smack dab in the front lines at all times. And it's pretty clear why. Staking the role of the healing support class, Medics are essential and potent to literally every situation in the entire game. Medic all around is easily the most dependable class of all. Got an itty bitty owie or some big assholes in your flesh?
Medic!
Too scared to go alone?
Medic!
Want some sterile as fuck healing beans shot straight up your
Put this... Yes. Thank you, doctor!
That's nasty. You'd think all your jackass friends yelling your name at all times would be intolerable, but no. It actually makes you feel better as a medic. While I don't like the Medic all around as much as others do, I can clearly see why he's such a respected figure. Just knowing that your prized Medigun is keeping your teammates alive and fighting is what makes playing Medic a very satisfying time. Being such an active team player like that is more than worth the skill and time investment playing as this class requires. Respect your doctors, people, even if some of them do have a bit of the crazies. Also, dare I bring up the Medic's insane melee weapon range? Dude's like a friggin' long shot. You know what they say about America? Fuck yeah! No. The other phrase.
You suck!
Yeah, that's hitting the nail. That civic schmaltz out of the way, I now present to you our new secret weapon. Ah yes, the soldier. God help us now. Being the lowest ranked offensive class on here, the soldier is probably the most insecure of the bunch. A lot of people think of us Americans as one thing on top of obesity. Crazy as shit. And you'd be kinda right. Soldier's the very embodiment of all that pent-up insanity. Taking a look at what he has to show, his personality is just begging to be examined. You ever see a chicken go apeshit after cornering it in its coop? I have. Just go ahead and chop the fucker's head off and you'll get the same thing as the American nut job. You think I'm skipping you here? This crazed commando symbolizes everything depicted as wrong in an American local. He's savagely arrogant, thinks any other nationality around him is inferior, and you know what? He's just stuck in his own little world at all all times. You don't need to observe the soldier for very long to discover what he's all about. War and patriotism. Oh, lovely. Shit like that always makes the game better. As far as this character archetype goes, I feel TF2's soldier is the most underrated example, for two very important reasons. Not only is he free of any unpleasant color blotches, how many army soldiers in works of fiction are actually worth listening to? I thought so. Although, I gotta say, the chauvinist behavior he clamours out of his cynical mouth not only comes across as insultingly prejudicial, but just plain mean.
Scotland is not a real country. You are an Englishman with a dress. I will send my condolences to your kangaroo wife. This American boot just kicked your ass back to Russia.
Well, that's not very nice. All he wanted to do was share a sandwich with you, dick. Interestingly enough, soldier is the only class in which I find the insults to go a little too far. No country's perfect, Jane Doe. Soldier's mannerisms may be borderline insulting even to someone of the same nationality, but his take on the gameplay front makes up for it. Bluntly speaking, Soldier is the most simple class in terms of playstyle. Armed with his myriad of bazookas, the Soldier's offensive output is insane. His projectiles, be it rockets or blasts from the Cowmangler, can reach practically anywhere within the user's line of sight. On top of having excellent range with his weapons, each one of them deal considerable bursts of damage to opponents, ensuring that 3 to 4 precise shots will pick off any class without overheal. Sided with variants like the direct hit and the Liberty Launcher that allow faster projectile speed, all oncomers really need to be careful around unfriendly soldiers. More times than not, it's the splash damage that kills off the opposition, so rookie soldiers should be advised to aim at the foe's footing. Speaking of feet and explosions, Soldier has a very unique ace up his sleeve. Rocket Jump! I've seen some really crazy, over-the-top shit in TF2, but few of those mishaps make me utter the words, holy shit, more than pro rocket jumping soldiers going to work. I mean, holy hell! Just look at him go! He's like a flea taked up on seltzer water! This heaping dose of just too muchery is what gives Soldier his ounce of versatility. Surprisingly, Soldier's not only proficient in lethal assaults, but also in certain defensive situations. Combine his excellent rocket jumping mobility with the stat buffing Buglers and Conqueror shell, and you've got the single best class suited as a one-man army and a dominant team player if the pieces are set well enough in place. This, gorilla is, in my opinion, the primo starting class for new players. His initial setup is kept very simple, but can also be tweaked into more pliable methods of treading the battlefield, not to mention more devastating. Although, despite his potency, there are a few things I don't like about him. The previously disclosed crude behavior runs a bit sour in my personal tastes. His slow movement speed, while easily negated by pro rocket jumping, kinda bogs things down for me. Probably because I'm not that good at rocket jumping myself, I don't know. Lastly, the big reason why Soldier isn't any higher is because of his melee arsenal. Not only do I find their designs just to be a little too basic and kinda boring to look at, but I hardly ever use them, save for the escape plan. I suppose they're situational to a certain point, but the downgrades they're given seem to put them more in the red than being totally balanced. Blocks healing? Fuck that. Also, Pyros can make ridiculously quick work of soldiers, and unless they're willing the Phlogistinator, can easily render his offensive capabilities not only as useless, but completely against him. Still think you're the ultimate breed of warrior there, Jumbo? Yeah. As I stated back in Top 10 Killjoys, this game just adds so much to such a poisoned, malnourished genre. Dare I say it adds a bit of class. Curious that I bring up such traits, as our next entry is arguably the utmost pinnacle of both class and being a buzzkill. Gentlemen and ladies, France's own Spy. Now you gotta be asking yourself and the dingus who's talking the exact same question. Logan? Who the fuck's this? I thought you hated the Spy. You cursed his name. He made you punch a cricketoon. Explain yourself now. First of all, that cricketoon's been stalking me for 2 years. The fucker kinda had it coming. And second, I don't hate the Spy. Sure, he's a jerk. And yeah, his profession steers more toward swindleless, dagger-happy rat than anything else. But that unexplainably devious side of me just can't fight against taking admiration in this slick devil of a man. Granted, that's only when the bastard isn't playing shank me to hell with my spine. Damn. Alright, let's see what the man of espionage has hidden away in his suit. Starting with personality. The dude's a complete snake. Don't get me wrong, I love snakes. But if that snake has a gun and an insta-kill knife hidden under his cufflinks, I'd rather play chicken with the Mramba. But that's only his profession. He's a trifle bitter towards his enemies, but beneath the surface, he's a prim proper sophisticate. Enough to be called a ladies' man. Oh, look at that stud. Man, I was right to call him a motherfucker. The degree of sophistication and class this snappily dressed beast gives off is enough to school you through Harvard. He's a cold-blooded, backstabbing bitch, but hey, that's just his job. And I think he does the deed a little too well. If such a well-mannered aristocrat was able to be accepted into an erected legion of demented brutes and crazed gunmen, that must say a lot about his capabilities. Certainly enough, Monsieur's ski mask holds up with his colleagues absurdly well. That's the interesting thing about Spy, his playstyle. He looks the part of a man not heavily suited for the rage of war. For the most part, that's correct. Like another class I'll be covering down the line, the Spy lands in a very special area of the field. Unlike the general majority of the team, he's an assassin for hire. As this class, running straight forward into the heat of battle is about as smart and effective as wearing a 25-foot-long scarf while working a wood chipper. The name of the class is Spy, not trigger-happy dipshit. In no way can you ever dash in and wreck shit. Taking control of the Spy, one must go on about playing in a smarter, less Rambo-ish fashion. Going Spy is one of the most difficult experiences within the game, but in return, it's also one of the most thrilling. Sided with experimental French technology and the most overpowered revolver in fiction, players that take control of the Spy are rewardingly safeguarded. The disguise kit, which oddly equates to cigars, allows the Spy to blend in with the enemies. But the Spy wouldn't be such a leading support class if it wasn't for his backstab. Good lord. The backstab is a guaranteed kill. Insta-death. This monstrous offensive maneuver is the very reason why I turn around every 5 seconds. If a competent Spy decides to stalk you, there's no hope for your sorry ass. With the exception of Scout, Spy is the biggest enemy for every class. Slow heavies and Demoman, bumbling, unwary soldiers, medics healing his teammates, and Inji. Oh, poor fucking Inji! Nobody is safe from the Spy. What's crazier? With the use of the Ambassador, he can headshot enemies. This fucker's offensive viability is off the charts. The very moment you click on that 9th slot, you become everyone's worst nightmare. Not so much of what you're going to do, but what you can do. Spy is, in my opinion, the single hardest class to master. All the stuff you have to work around, the danger you put yourself in the center of, it's not easy. But with such potent abilities at the helm, Spy also has a lot of shortcomings. While the nightmarish power of his weapons provide are indispensably useful, getting the chance to actually pull off the stunt is where things become an issue. Yes, you can hide yourself in more ways than just one, but the problem is that players have long since caught on to the Spy's technique. It almost makes the disguise kit pointless. Not to mention that Pyros pretty much act as his kryptonite. Guess it's only natural, huh? Gifted with the most devastating method of killing, also plagues you with the most glaring weakness of any class. Spy is the closest example of an unbalanced class as it gets. I guess that's only fair. Coming in at good old number 5, we got the mystery centerpiece of Team Fortress 2 and every pyromaniac's prestigious idol, the Pyro. There are quite a lot of things I spell honesty towards, but none of them hold as much sincerity as what I'm about to say right now. The Pyro scares me. His menacing figure, his baffling ambiguity, all of it is unsettling to me. Just what the hell is the Pyro anyway? Well, perhaps I'll spare 2 cents on that topic in a moment. But first, let's keep customaries in order and list off the positive aspects Pyro has. Obviously enough, Pyro isn't particularly bursting with personality, as ordinary people go, and especially in comparison to his fellow teammates. For what personality Pyro does show off, it's incredibly difficult to make anything out of it. One minute, Pyro could be rocking out to a non-existent guitar solo, and then, moments later after a high five, he could be bouncing up and down and patting his hands together, almost as if he's squealing like a schoolgirl. Not only is this just strange, but it's also remarkably inconsistent. It's like Valve can't make up their mind on what personality they wanted to give Pyro. Also, Pyro doesn't even speak. Okay, sure, he mumbles. But could that really be classified as speaking? Pyro's personality really isn't much. And seeing how personality is a big category, it's something that makes Pyro suffer in regards to character. However, what Pyro offers up in the area of gameplay is what really makes him something else. Objectively speaking, Pyro is the most viable class in the field of combat. Sure, the situations his arsenal can cover pales slightly in comparison to the likes of Demoman and Medic, but when it comes to the raw thick of battle, Pyro's skills and abilities are beyond instrumental. I honestly fail to see why other players think Pyro is feckless to the team's overall effort. All Pyro can do is use a flamethrower and run at people. Wrong! Yes, running at enemies with your flamethrower like a mindless killing machine is something Pyro can do very well, but there's a shitload more Pyro is capable of. The flamethrower in particular is a devastating piece of weaponry. Ever been lit on fire or burned? Yeah, it don't feel good. Practically any class that steps in range of an enemy Pyro is at the mercy of the most brutal ranged force in all of TF2. Even Heavy, who has a hulking 300 health, can't do much when he's at the spewing end of this lethal stream. Oh, but the pain doesn't stop there, Chief. Check this shit out. Afterburn. This is what makes Pyro such a deadly force. If that hot-ass fire touches your skin for even a fraction of a second, the effect lingers for 10 freaking seconds. May not sound like much, but you'd be amazed at how many players die from the afterburn. Thank God for Girardi and Mad Milk. There's more. That fucking compression blast. With a simple click of the Alt Fire button, a particularly powerful burst of compressed air will shoot out of the tip, which pushes enemies back, reflects everything that's not a regular bullet, extinguish any teammate, and even separate an ubercharged medic pair. Great sons of bitchin' scotch tape! With this, as I like to say,
Psychic barrier, political Jesus.
a dab of potent strategizing is added to the normally generic Pyro playstyle. In some maps, you can push enemies over the edge, or literally trap your dumbfounded prey upward in a corner, picking them off without any kind of fuss. But what if they're out of range? I can't do anything to them then. It's called a secondary weapon, Barnabas. Try using it for once. Pyro doesn't seem like a mindless sap anymore now, does he? Isn't it fun to use your brain? This viable, devastating moveset is what puts Pyro at number 4. But it's the lack of any concrete personality that keeps him from getting any higher. Now, concerning the buzz about the Pyro's identity, what's my take on it? Just look at all the signs. Mute, hidden identity, maker of a homemade flamethrower, clearly has a knack for exploiting physics, and uses household tools as weapons. It's too obvious, isn't it? It's Gordon Freeman. Think about that, huh? Scotland, bow before your king. Sure to be seen making out with a bottle of Scrumpy every day of the week, Tavish Finnegan de Groot right here wins my vote for the single best class in the entire game. Yes, objectively speaking, I find Demoman to be the greatest of the classes. Of course, that's all centered within the thick of the gameplay. Taking this one wee booty step at a time, let's take a look at the Bombhead's personality. Fresh out of the Scottish Highlands, this salty bloke of a bombardier spends his sweet time blowing shit up. I already love this guy. Don't take this as an offensive remark, but I have to say, Demoman certainly is colorful. By that, I'm referring to primarily towards his design. Have a look-see at what's set in front of your very eyes. The dude's an alcoholic, bomb-chucking, caber-pelting, peg-leg-wearing, sword-swiping, fucking flying Black Scottish Cyclops. Was someone at Valve's designer studio working the Scottish handshake during development, or is this just the greatest fucking design for a human character ever? I've seen some cheaply rendered Nessie monsters in my day, but never a Captain Samuel L. Dubach. He's like Black Bomber with a kilt. How much more asinine can you get? Behavior-wise, Demo's a bit of a derp. Seeing how he's borderline tanked on the battlefield at all times, his mannerisms and speech patterns sound a lot like what you'd hear at any local bar. Except instead of bare knuckles and broken beer bottles, we've got grenade launchers and eyelanders. I'll pass on the whiskey. Demo's always bumbling around and yelling at people.
Dominated, you Teutonic nursemaid! Go to hell and tell the devil I'm coming for him next! I'll notify your next of kin that you sucked!
Never been to Ullapool, Scotland, but if this is their town drunk, people there certainly must be fun. You'd think being drunk all the damn time would cripple the Scots' performance on the battlefield, but no. It only gets crazier from here. Demoman is probably the most versatile class ever. Armed with an arcing grenade launcher, players who control Demoman are the dominators of indirect fire, taking powerhouse shots from every conceivable angle, having them bounce off walls into the enemy's buildings or their faces. Vanilla demos are wholly unpredictable, and take a surprising amount of strategic aiming to get the hang of. Sticky bomb launchers also make the Demoman a huge asset on defense. Careful placement of sticky bombs can easily turn any oncoming attackers into a messy pile of yuck. Other alternatives like a lock and load and the sticky jumper can dish out brutal onslaughts with direct hits, and well, me being a Soren Scottish dipshit. However, the thing that makes Demoman special stems from his alternate playstyle. I'm talking about Demo Knight, son. This playstyle can grant wondrous perks at the cost of your demolition toys. More health, explosion resistance, the fastest speed in the game, close range ramming, a critical damage boost, and even afterburn immunity. Good lord, that's a bloody variety. Although, the bumbling drunk has a few issues. First of all, much like Heavy, Demoman's slow as hell. His base speed ranks as the second lowest in the game, and with the Scotsman's piece of shit, he's almost as slow as Heavy. Although, unlike Heavy, this can be easily worked around. The sticky jumper's insane mobility use and the head collecting feature on some of his melee weapons can clear up any movement speed issues. But I suppose Demoman's biggest weakness is his form of attacking. Indirect fire seen in his primary weapons make him a lot less practical than, hell, nearly all the other classes. Other than the Spy, Demoman is the hardest class to master. If you lack any sense of strategy, which quite a lot of players do, Demoman's not a class that'll work in your favor. This lack of practical usage can quite literally become the biggest weakness of any class, and especially if you're the hasty type. But I don't seem to have that problem, which is precisely why Demoman is this high. I used to hate playing as him, honestly. Thankfully, I adapted and will continue to have fun fucking around with the black bombing boozer for months to come. And now, I'll spin you a while. Prep up the crosshairs, focus your good eye. Use bombs wisely, lad. Now watch the pieces fly.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell!
Damn it, fellas! I am the better man.
Well, don't that beat all. Engineer actually made it into my top 3. Surprised? So was I. Back when I started playing TF2, Engineer was by and far my least favorite class. I found playing as him to be unnecessarily frustrating, boring, and never amounting to any sort of rewarding payoff for playing as him. I hated it. But the more and more hours that piled up on the old Steam profile, the more often I winced in fascination at the wrench-happy Texan and that eerily infectious smile of his. I found that underneath that shiny hard hat is a genuine chunk of genius. There's a flurry of positives to him and maybe, just maybe, a few shortcomings. I don't know, guess we'll have to move along to find out for sure. There's something about Engi's disposition that I don't think a lot of people see in him. The dude is very trite, to an almost blissful extent. What I mean by that is, he acts very much like your regular Joe, which, given the downright bombastic nature of every one of his other colleagues, it's a breath of fresh air I never thought could be drawn in. When you think of an average person of the like, you generally don't picture anyone exceedingly fun. And of course, in the big book of bullshit stereotypes, the Southerners are hillbilly, all are inbred, you know, they just suck. Oh, okay, if you say so, government. So, by that dickish train of thought, is normal nature Deep South Engie by any means boring, or anything like the media suggests? Well, it's like I say, normal doesn't exist. So yes, I still think he's a ton of fun. For start, he's very soft-spoken. What? Well, damn, he can't be from Texas. He's gotta be up here with us smart North people.
Nope.
He's mannerly, he's amicable, and by gum, Engie's downright gentle. Unless you're one of the poor bastards he's been paid to kill. Even when he's out to reproach an enemy via domination, his words aren't as distasteful as the others.
Never mind the bullets. How much all these coffins costing you? Didn't your mama teach you not to play with matches? That's what it feels like when eagles cry, soldier boy.
But to compliment, he can very well be a smartass all his own.
Guess they didn't teach you to duck in doctor school. Dominated. Smoky. Aw, now you don't look like a happy camper.
Oh, all this slander and more provided by the just as well-mannered Grant Goodeve. He's the guy from 8 is Enough. David? Nobody seeing that? Rather inevitably, the gentle character of the book-smart Texan can lead to a heap of disrespect. The fans of the internet may love him a lot, but his entire team, they kind of see him as a pushover, a maker of toys, not attrition. Little do those fellas realize, this man's the most valuable asset to their efforts. Here's one of the reasons why I like Engie. His meme-tastic status, and his affinity for technology, the latter of which is what makes him such a goddamn helping hand. Every way he rolls, there's a hint of technology to be seen. Hell, even his name! Dal Coninger! What's his wife's name, Toshiba? With this PDA in hand, Engineer can deploy up to 3 types of machinery: dispensers, teleporters, and the turret gun from hell, the sentry gun. Dispensers disperse health and ammunition to teammates, teleporters warp them from point A to point B, and the sentry guns, they just wreck fucking everything. With the viability of all of these three highly advanced buildings offer, it's quite obvious the engineer is the most useful of all the classes. The teleporters reflect an offensive position, the sentry guns reflect defense, and the dispensers reflect support. NG's technology covers assistance in every role important to the team. Not as much as a select few classes in those categories, but it's quite remarkable how one class can cover so much gumption, and that's just in regards to his construction PDA. The engineer himself can also take control of the situation if possible. Armed with a wrench, a generic but proper primary, and the most overpowered pistol in fictional history, this southerner is one tough to crack egghead. A rather unstated thrill about playing as engineer is that the attention, whether it be for better or for worse, is always on you. If there's a level 3 sentry perched anywhere in a choking point, practically the entire team will go to the depths of hell and back just to take that monster out. And if you're good as playing engineer, setting your cards right can very well spell out team victory in bold letters. Interesting playstyle switch-ups like the Rescue Ranger, Wrangler, and the devilish act of mini-sentry spamming with the Gunslinger. Just so much fun. You can win fairly, or piss everyone the hell off. It rolls either way. NG does have a bit of a gap. His comrades, from what I can guess, believe he spends too much of his time hiding behind his creations, as opposed to getting out there and going all retarded Rambo on the opposition. To some extent, that certainly is true. An engineer's success and value to the team as a whole does mainly come from the incredible utility his buildings give off. The problem starts to surface when the other team actually manages to whittle away the buildings. NG's left with his own wit to defend himself. But if the other team was good enough to take down the sentry gun and live, there's no hope for you anyway. That and spies are NG's Achilles heel. Those fucking snakes, I hate them! But I guess that's just how it goes.
The old chop chop.
The Sniper. Oh my bloody fruit shoots, the Sniper. Hailing from the bushy Australian outback, Mr. Monday Sniper right here is often tagged as a goddamn bane of every class on the field. And we're talking Bane from Batman and Robin here, so we're kind of dealing with something to dread. What puts Sniper this freaking high is practically everything I praised all the other previous classes for. Sniper lacks in very few areas, and he's probably the most played class ever. Every server I've ever been on always has at least one sniper on both ends of the alliance, often with slots of the other classes left all by their lonesome. Good lord, guys. Before I list off what I see as positives, I want to clear something up that honestly bothers me. So many people criticize the Sniper for being a cheap camper, always sitting his ass in the background and taking shot at those who are actually in the field. They act like it's a crime against the game or something. Hell, the game itself pokes fun at this little label. He's just a cozy camper. Well, yeah, he is. For some stupid reason, people often forget the whole goddamn point of a sniper. The Australian piss-happy bushman is not a warrior. With the exception of himself and the spy, every class in the game is a mercenary. The sniper and the spy, assassins for hire. They're not designed for raising hell in the fray of bullets and explosions. Sure, you can walk out to the thick in battle and try to pick off the mercenaries close up, but it's one of the stupidest things you can do. Unless you're in a game of payload, you really should stick to your perch. If someone gives you shit for camping and keeping your distance, just tell them, bloody deal with it. Also, about the body shots. Just shut up about that already. If someone kills you, they kill you. Bloody fat noob here can't play a sniper, says the cockhole that just died. Jeez, I better move on before this turns into a rant. Running with the nationality stereotypes that Valve implements into the TF2 classes, you tell me if it'll be hard to guess how the sniper behaves. Clearly, since he's from Australia, he's gotta act like a stock, rugged, backwoodsy bloke, generally thought to come right out of a boomer's front pouch. I'm telling you, they amp up the stereotypes way past Super Saiyan 9. I mean, just look at the stuff they make him wear. Crocodile's head, crocodile teeth necklace, and what's next? Are they gonna make him say crikey?
Crikey!
Ah, son of a bitch. What we got here, man, is arguably the most disgruntled bushman ever. The class members in TF2 are some of the biggest jerks in video game history, but the sniper blows that all away. He's such an asshole.
Sorry there, nurse. I mistook you for an actual threat. The bullets come out of the slim hand, mate. Lend us your shovel so I can dig your grave. I win! You filthy spook! I just bagged the world's fattest man!
God, poor Heavy. Whatever happened to that be polite part of the job? They stopped paying you for that Monday? In nearly every side of the fence, I thoroughly enjoy how Sniper plays. He has the most simple way of playing, but arguably one of the most satisfying. I can't even tell you how big of a smile I have after dominating like 6 players in a row with headshots, or blowing their head up with the heatmaker, or even intentionally body shooting them just to piss them on. Yes, piss on. I use the Sydney Sleeper from time to time. Alongside the flamethrower, the Sniper's broad array of rifles make for some of the most devastating pieces of hardware in the game. 5 out of the 6 rifles that he can wield deliver instant kill death blows with fully charged headshots, on almost all occasions. Not even Heavy with max overheal can survive that deadly shot. And that's what Sniper is all about, staying safe at a distance, picking off all the enemies on the field that might give his colleagues a living hell. You know, kinda like a support class? No way! He only has 2 negatives in my book. 1, he has a small amount of health, and 2, his effectiveness weakens with proximity, meaning that if you're on the field with something other than the Huntsman, you're gonna have a hell of a time taking anything down. Especially if one of the offensive classes cares to take you down. Yes, he can pull out a submachine gun or the Cleaner's Carbine, but those weapons aren't very potent, especially if the teams are swarming the source of the objective. Spies can give you plenty of trouble too, but that's what the Razorback's for. But I digress. Sniper's awesome. I may piss off my enemies with all my camping, but hey, part of the job, mate. The process of elimination. It's a beautiful thing, ain't it? If you're at all familiar with TF2, you would have known right from the number 2 segment who would steal first place. Pretty obvious, huh? For what could be better to take the number 1 spot than the King of Kings, the wicked nasty, truly feared
Sandwich!
Nah, just kidding. It's a scout.
Boom! I'm back, dummy!
What? What's with a funny look? Stop looking at me like that. It's creepy. Something wrong with what I did here? Oh! Nice argument there. Boink! Now it's a dead argument. Now, a lot of classes in the game get a lot of flack from the pro material players. The Sniper's a cheap camper. Pyro takes no skill whatsoever. Scouts are for noobs. Really now. Scouts are for noobs. No elaboration, just Scouts are noobs. Okay, beautiful. Justified stuff. Though, I got a question for you. Do you have any idea who this is? Well, I'm not so sure of his name either, but I do know this much. He's a force of nature. Weapon puns aside, Scout really is something else. Out of every one of the manic mercenaries to bear the red and blue colors, the snarky scrapper from Massachusetts is what I call the elite. Top of the fucking class. He seems like the dubious type for such a rank, but just you wait. He's much more than what he seems. Tagged as the jittery pest of the roster, it's not hard to see why people find Scout such an annoying species. He's essentially Sonic, except loaded on caffeine, and he has a gun. Christ. If that concept isn't within your mental grasping range, let me give you a different visual. Imagine there's a bunny. He's in your backyard. God thought it would be pretty funny to give that bunny a scattergun and about 27 pounds of carbonated sugar. And that bunny wants to hurt you. So what do you say to that? Exactly. Personality-wise, this chump treats the show you watch much like the enemy intelligence. He fucking steals it. Getting a taste of what his personality is, you'd think I'd hate the Scout. I mean, just ponder the signs. Vulgar, always in your face, thinks he's better than you, cannot comprehend manners, and he's immature. Sounds an awful lot like my haters. Buzzing! But no. That's not quite the case. Scout's obnoxious nature and behavior is actually, you know, kind of entertaining. He's just fun to listen to.
Here's a schematic for you. My ass! I think I'll take Sasha out for a steak dinner tonight. What do you think about that? Yeah, that's right. Drop dead and give me 20. Repeat after me. I suck!
His snooty attitude is only made better during the gameplay, which I'll cover right now. Now, people do some stupid things, like going ice skating with their face or questioning Commander Shepard. But there's something even stupider you can do. Underestimating the Scout. True, someone this scrawny, incomprehensibly smug looks nothing like that of a threat. But be warned. Bonk Boy is gonna beat your ass something fierce. Scout's greatest weapon is his agility. Play as any other class and then switch to Scout. The difference in speed is not only a noticeable difference, it's staggering. By default, Scout is over 30% faster than any class, making trips into battle seem like nothing and delivering incredible output towards the objective. Capturing points don't get much easier than that, my friend. That, and the dude can deck you in 0 seconds flat. No matter how skilled you may be, nothing can prepare you for an enemy Scout looking to kill. If a good enough scout is able to get that close to you, no amount of shit talking will save you. That's what's so great about the scout. His gameplay is constant action. Gotta keep moving, keep your eyes on the enemy and track them down like a goddamn seeker missile, one after another.
Points!
Beat their freaking heads in.
Bonk!
Let them know who they're dealing with.
I am the scout here!
You bet your ass you are. Don't you ever take him lightly. Sad as it is, he does have a blemish that keeps him from being too overpowered. He's tied with Inji, Sniper, and Spy as the weakest class, with only 125 health. And is there really anything else? Seriously, I think that's the only weakness Scout has. Any other claims could easily be overworked or just playing false. His power isn't that good. Bullshit! Lone heavies and soldiers can easily be taken out in short bursts with the scattergun and the force of nature, especially if they become stunned. Not as useful. Really. Because I wouldn't be surprised if 70% of all points ever capped are because of the scouts. They're annoying! Well, of course they are! That's the entire point of such a class. That just means they're doing their job right. This is being Fawful's minion. And Scout isn't for noobs. He's for everyone. Except my friend Ragnilla.
This is why scouts are the bane of my existence. I could be kicking ass, and then all of a sudden, something appears out of the corner of my vision, and before I can react to it, they start firing at me. It's like, FUCK!
No other class gonna do that.
You know, with some practice, I can get through the fighting parts without getting hit once. But the problem is the fucking snipers!